guys. All right. Shut that down. What's up, everybody? Welcome to our very first ever PayTrace Power30. My name is Sam Johnson, one of the sales trainers. With us today, a man that needs no introduction, but I'm going to do it anyway. Our guest has sold merchant services. He's ran a small business. He's an ETA certified payment professional. He's a hot tub and cigar aficionado.
It's my specialty, actually.
He's my good friend and my mentor, our National Sales Manager for PayTrace, Eric Jenks.
Happy to be here.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us, Eric.
First run.
First run.
Momentous.
We're going to wing it, guys. Flying by the seat of our pants.
Here we go.
So yeah, like we said, this is our very first ever PayTrace Power30. So today we're going to be interviewing one of our leaders, Eric Jenks. In the future, we're going to have some other maybe even more important people. I don't know if that's possible.
It won't be difficult, actually. We're at the bottom of the barrel right now, but we're going to have fun.
But yeah, we're going to have a good time. So just so you guys know, this is not scripted today. I'm going to be keeping Eric on his toes. We're going to be asking him some questions. For this, we encourage audience participation. So as we're talking with Eric, if you have any questions, comments, or emotional outbursts, we want to know about it. So send those in, wiggle your mouse around, and you'll see a Q&A box on the bottom. It looks like somebody's already sent in a question. We're going to take some time at the end to answer that. So we want to know your thoughts, and Eric's going to be your
Let's do it.
Your dummy for today.
Yes. Crash dummy. Here we go.
Crash dummy. So you're not here very often.
No.
Which is kind of cool. So
here is Spokane, Washington.
Spokane, Washington.
PayTrace headquarters.
Why the heck are you here? besides the Power30.
Man, I'm starting to feel like all these questions about identity starting to swing in all of a sudden. So big week for PayTrace. It's our annual company meeting. We've had a tradition of getting everybody from around the company to Spokane at our headquarters twice a year. We do a summer shindig, and we do one here at the end of the year. So this week is our annual company meeting. So I actually dragged the family up because we do a big company party. Last year, my boss ruined Christmas for us. He let my kids know that he was Santa Claus, which scared them. And but no, it's a fun time with all the kids getting together and enjoying it. So we drove up yesterday. I'm from Portland, Oregon. It's a short. Well, it should be a 5-hour drive, but with kids, 7 hours. So we feel happy about that.
Good deal. Good deal. Did you guys get the hotel with the pool this time?
You know, the company, we're at a really nice hotel, but the pool is in the tower. So we have to take the valet to the pool. So my kids do feel compromised. So, but this is the first time they've slept in king beds, so they feel like they're on top of the world.
Wow, royalty.
They are royalty.
That's pretty cool.
They are lucky.
That's awesome. They're good kids. Well, I gotta say, this might sound a little bit weird, but you're looking a little tan for December.
It's the lighting. It's all the lighting.
That's right. We've got some pretty cool lights in here. But you were recently on a sales meeting in Mexico.
Yeah,
right. We're international now.
It's our first international invite, so really felt blessed to get invited to a really cool shindig in Cabo. Never been to Cabo, and we have an inside joke. I really want to get our company meetings in Hawaii. I think that would be fun. So we often joke about what's it going to take to get to Hawaii. I may compromise, and I think it's a worthy compromise to do Cabo. So it was a good time.
Sign me up.
I know we had quite a bit of rock, paper, scissors for our team to see who was going to go in that meeting. So
that's right. So hopefully our next Power30, we're going to be broadcasting instead of from this beautiful Spokane backdrop.
Yes.
We're going to have a beach
blue
in the
waters,
background.
Sunshine.
That's right.
Sign me up.
All right. Well, let's stop beating around the bush and let's get into what people came here for. Some actual payments questions.
Fire away.
So a cool thing that just happened actually this last week was a white paper published by
I love that.
The Straw Hacker Group and MasterCard came out.
Yeah.
And PayTrace was featured in it. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, wow. Got that on a Saturday. Our marketing team doing a lot of work with MasterCard, and to see that paper come out in conjunction with the Straw Hacker Group, really talented organizations, was a lot of fun. Those guys have done a lot of research on how do we expand into this lucrative B2B market space, and to be featured in that was really cool. You can see that online. I saw an email from Strawhacker Group last week. I encourage folks to grab that. You can ping my team as well. We'd be happy to share that with you. But a lot of insights on the growth. So I'll give you a clue too. This was like one of two questions they told me was coming. And so if you're like, man, this seems scripted, it's because I've been thinking about this one a lot. But yeah, super excited that for a couple of reasons. Number one, there's a cool infographic, shows industry growth in our industry about 9%, except for in the B2B space, over 50%. Unbelievable. So yeah, I mean, some really cool stuff on there. Reasons to consider B2B, really, right there. So love that, loving to be in this space. The other thing that I saw on there, over 300 gateways listed and saying, hey, it makes sense to have a B2B gateway. And we believe them, right? I mean, I think it's great that we have choice, and a lot of you work with more than one gateway. I think that's really smart. But I think that understanding that, man, that's confusion for your merchants. It's probably confusing for you as well, but understanding that there is a place for the B2B gateway. So it's a legit thing. These B2B merchants have separate needs. So,
definitely.
great paper.
And we'll make sure that we send out a copy to that and a follow-up link probably tomorrow, if we can do that. There's some really cool case studies in there with some actual merchants using merchants with some real savings. So real powerful information in there, guys. Check that out. Well, awesome. That's good stuff, Eric. So
thank you for the softball question.
You're welcome. Got to warm you up a little bit.
I appreciate that.
So here's one that you did not know in advance.
Oh boy, here we go.
So you've been with PayTrace pretty much since the beginning. And
really early on, yeah.
Yeah, you're one of the OG PayTracers, essentially.
Old. Okay.
Old PayTracers.
Experience.
That's right, experience.
Okay.
How's PayTrace kind of evolved over the years? What's different from how it was 5 years ago?
Oh yeah. Well, sheer scope obviously is night and day. I remember we had parties, man, 8,000 merchants, 10,000 merchants, 30,000 merchants. And so just the scope of those problems. And of course, then the settlement volumes have just been skyrocketing. I remember when we heard our first $1 billion, and I thought, are you sure that's right? B with a billion with a B, right? And now we're, multiple billions. I think last time somebody was like, is it 40 or 50 billion? And that's just a cool question to ask, right? For the types of volumes that we're pushing. And then just the number of people. I mean, this started in Scott, as an idea from Scott, and was a server in his garage. And now we have, 60 employees and engineers and Scrum teams and cool marketing teams doing fun stuff like this, and showing up internationally at parties. And so it's making a big difference in merchants' lives. So
that's
awesome
to
be a part of.
That's awesome. Yeah. A lot of cool stuff coming up, which kind of leads me to my next question. We've got 2019 right around the corner.
Yeah. Can you believe it?
Got our all company meeting this month. We've got a lot of stuff coming up pretty quickly. What do you anticipate from, the product and sales side of PayTrace to come up in the next,
number one question, especially from sales reps, is, what's the next best widget? What's coming along? And I'd say we're becoming more focused on the B2B space. And so I think we're going to see an improvement within the reliability of PayTrace. Some scalability issues are probably going to be worked out. Part of that's certifications. We're very excited. We're in the middle of a certification with First Data. So if you're a First Data shop, we're going to have some cool new certifications, in that world. One of our earliest products, our payment page, the email and invoice. Man, people sell the heck out of that. They love it. It's so easy. It's cheap. It's a great tool for professional offices. And man, it is long in the tooth. I think Scott designed that back in, a really long time ago.
2008, 2009.
It's really old. Got the customer experience team working on that, and the design looks beautiful. So really excited for some refreshes on some things like that. So more reliable for the B2B interchange optimization, and some refreshes to continue to make that customer experience, user experience top notch.
So I kind of want to piggyback off that a little bit. You just mentioned reliability.
Yeah.
One of our core values this last year changed basically we added reliability to one of our core values.
Mm-hmm.
And this last year, kind of our company's goal has been innovation for reliability.
Yeah.
What can you explain to our audience? What does that mean to you?
Yeah. We've had some, let's call it out. We've had some ups and downs on this. This website traffic has grown tremendously. The number of transactions that we're pushing now by the minute is multiple X than what we did years ago. And, folks just expect the miracle of technology to work all the time, right? You turn on the internet and it's there. And really, that's one of the cool things about Visa and MasterCard, right? You go anywhere in the world. I'm in Mexico, I swipe my debit card and out comes money, right out from my local community bank. And so, but there's a lot of technology that goes into that. And, it can be a challenge. You want to build the next cool thing, right? The new widget that's the newest thing, or do you spend the money to make things reliable? Do you harden it? Do you make it safe? And we've made a strategic decision to make it more reliable, and we're seeing why we should, because we've had some latency issues twice in the last couple months. Most of that, quite frankly, has to do with a mass amount of transactions coming in from all over the world. So it's a huge increase in the fact that things continue to chug along, things don't break, right? There's been no compromises. I think are a good sign.
Yeah.
But reliability is a big deal. So it's kind of an assumption in the industry, but it matters, right? It matters to us, I would say.
Exactly. Which is really cool. We've got a really good foundation on the system now, so I'm excited for
We've got
the future.
Some cool people. These guys speak a whole different language, nerd talk, right? Sorry to all the developers out there, but you guys speak a different language and they work magic, and we appreciate them.
We have like a weekly show and tell that our dev team does, or bi-weekly show and tell.
Love it.
And it's awesome because they're always talking about some of the new coding that they do. And this is stuff that's totally in the background. Nobody ever really knows what's going on, but there's so many improvements. Most of the time they're just talking and my eyes glaze over because
sounds good.
I have a sports business degree. I don't
I
don't know any of that.
But all those changes, Visa's coming out with updates all the time. First Data's coming out, TSYS, all those guys have new certifications coming out all the time. Besides the security issues, updates to the system. A lot of times folks are like, hey, when are you guys doing your updates? We used to be on a schedule. It was like every couple of weeks we roll out an update. We're at the point now we're doing basically an update every day.
Yeah.
Right? You have to be on top of it. And the cool thing is that's mostly transparent to people. They have no idea that team has gotten that good. But we need to deliver value fast. Folks, customers demand it. Our sales partners want that value fast, and we're working to make that more streamlined. So
that's really cool.
Yeah,
thanks.
Some fun stuff.
Thanks for talking to that.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm learning stuff too.
Kudos to the tech team.
Well, sweet. So I want to go into kind of your background, because we got a lot of folks on here that you're always asking sales tips or some best practices.
Sure.
Fun fact about you is that you actually brought PayTrace's very first merchant to us.
That's funny, huh?
Back when,
back in the day.
Back in the day.
Yeah. So Scott was developing PayTrace, had just gotten a TSYS certification. We wanted to test it out, and I was working at a MSP selling accounts on the street, and a friend of mine was opening up a new business, small business, wanted to open up an e-commerce site as well. So this was back 2004-ish. And so yeah, we plugged him in. He opened up the virtual terminal and the shopping cart module and was off selling B2B. It was pretty fun.
That's awesome.
Feels like a very long time ago.
I'm just trying to picture you sell on the street. Hey, you want some credit card processing?
I know.
You need merchant services?
We need merchant services. We make the magic happen.
That's cool. So can you share, maybe some of your best practices or some tips for maybe some, veteran or new reps selling PayTrace?
Do your homework. This industry, there's just so much going on. So really the fact that you're taking time to, attend a webinar like this, that needs to just be a regular practice, because there's so many things that are changing all the time. And you just never know what that next little tidbit that's going to help you close business. And I remember being on a call, and it was with a major newspaper, and I was talking with them, and the pain point for them was solved with discretionary fields, custom fields, and just being able to show them how they could require their staff to put in the information that they want. I mean, literally this their accountant came on and said, look, sign up. I don't care how much it costs. And I'm like, man, that's great.
Start charging for discretionary data.
The price is going up, I guess. But you just don't know, right? And that's the cool thing. But you have to know your product. And I forgot to bring, I brought, when I started in this industry, we actually could get the manuals from Visa and MasterCard with the rules and regulations. And so I kept volume 1 of the Visa regulations. You know, that implies there's more than one volume, right? And I read it. I took it home and read it at night, read it on the weekends, so that my customers didn't have to, right? I became the expert in that space. And really that's what this industry is demanding. You've got to be the consultant. You're bringing value to your merchant. And a lot of that's knowledge, right? It's your thoughts that matter. So spending the time to become that thought expert in payments, you'll find that really quickly that changes the conversation. And that's what I love when I see folks stop selling on price and they truly become consultants, and they are bringing value to them. And then you start getting all kinds of crazy questions, because they're like, well, I trust you to answer this question. And then suddenly they start asking you, like, where should I take my dog to get their vaccinations? And you're just like, wow, we're at that level now. And that's fun. That's fun.
Cool. It's kind of interesting too with the product that we have. One of the biggest concerns I've noticed, and I think looking at the attendee list, a few people have asked me this, but they've run into questions that merchants don't believe that
it's possible
we can save that much money on interchange.
We're making it up, right? Well, the problem is so many people have lied before, right? I mean, we've all been on those stories where it's like, you know what, your merchant bill's $100 and we can save you $200. You're like, how does that math even work? You know? And but it's, you know, in that B2B space, the interchange optimization is the real deal, right? I mean, it's by far and away the biggest expense in our industry. And if you can make a big dent in that, you can save folks a lot of money.
Yeah.
So
it's easy.
Honestly, it's one of my favorite. Now I'm starting to get in, and people are like, simmer down, Jenks, you're getting excited.
It's getting Jenksy with it.
I know. And so, but I love it when I hear these stories from resellers that say, look, I have this account and I wasn't making any money, right? It was just a couple basis points, a couple cents. Interchange optimization, I was actually able to raise my margin and still save the merchant on their effective rate. And that's awesome, because the merchant's saving money, but now the sales rep is making money so that they actually have the time and the incentive to take care of their customer, right? When they call, you want to hear from them now. And that's what PayTrace can do to change the equation. And we absolutely love that. Whenever I hear that story, it just makes my day.
That's awesome. I'm going to jump over to James really quick. Do you mind, James, pulling up our website really quick?
Yeah.
We're talking a lot about this interchange optimization stuff, and our marketing team recently released a page.
Powerful stuff.
That really makes it easy to do this. Let's see if we can bring up that interchange page. There it is. So guys, if you go to paytrace.com and you click on that link that takes you to this page for the love of money, we're going to make it easy for you to navigate this whole complex interchange conversation. You don't need how many pages was the Visa interchange manual?
Too many.
Thousands. Right. So our team has put together this page. It really walks through what interchange is, so you can explain it easily to a merchant. And then you get into that conversation about they're paying too much. So just a little bit farther, we're going to get to some actual matrices. Like how I use that, matrices instead of matrices.
That's like the word of the day. If you can work that into your conversation today, let me know. Email me.
There you go. Matrices.
I'll send you a gift card.
Oh, wow. We're just giving out money now. But we make it easy. So you can see here, this is MasterCard's, interchange qualification rates for their, B2B types of credit cards. So if you look at these, right, if you see any of these on a statement, MasterCard business level 1 through 4, purchasing corporate cards, and they're not paying that left-hand column rates, they're probably overpaying on interchange, which,
And our marketing team did a lot of work on this, and I encourage you, quit trying to be creative and just plagiarize us. I mean, these are the best rates, better rates, and it's less optimal, right? I mean, There's a lot of thought that's been put into this, and it really resonates with merchants, right? And you're gonna start to see when you see standard, you're gonna get excited because you realize merchants are leaving money on the table because they don't have a valued consultant helping them, and you have an opportunity to get in on that. So,
Yeah. Quick question. Feel free to leave that up, or we can take it down.
yeah.
This is just shooting from the cuff. I didn't prepare this, but you've been doing this with PayTrace for a long time. What's the biggest outlier that you've seen as far as interchange savings? What's the most you've ever heard a merchant save?
Well, the case studies that we prepared were pretty large. Hundreds of millions of dollars worth of savings is. Those are definitely on the outlier edge. But I mean, we see really regularly, and the ones that make sense is, those regional suppliers where you're seeing regularly $5 to $10 grand a month in savings. It's too big of a number to ignore.
Mm-hmm.
And so it immediately gets the owner's attention. I mean, let's face it, for most small businesses, that's at least a salary, right? That makes a big difference in the life of a small business owner. And there's savings that can be shared, right? And that's probably one of the conversation pieces that I've been having is you don't have to give it all away, right? At the end of the day, we want our consultants to be in a place where they do want to take those phone calls, right? They do want to stop by, right? You're making enough money that you do want to send them Christmas presents, right? And hang out with them and take them out for a beer. And that's the relationship that we're looking to drive. So
that's really great.
I love it.
Well, I know so the reason I titled this PayTrace Power30 is because we're keeping it 30 minutes. And I want to make sure that we have some time for audience interaction. So if you guys have some questions right now.
Oh boy, here we go.
I know this is dangerous.
I know.
I see that we've had some send in. We might do a little weird thing and actually ask for some live questions. So if you actually want to ask Eric live.
Oh my.
Again, wiggle your mouse around, raise your hand, and we might pick on you.
Here we go.
So we'll start with some of the questions that were sent in. First off, I want to say our friend Todd, and Eric, I think you know who I'm referring to. He has a comment that says, "You guys are so sexy." So I just wanted to call that out. Thank you,
the
Todd.
Lumbersexuals. We did not coordinate the flannel, just so you know. That was completely off the cuff.
We're very Pacific Northwest today.
I'm feeling very millennial.
We've got our brand manager Janelle's also with us, and she's rocking some flannel. So this is James didn't get the memo apparently. Sorry, man.
Thank you.
And apparently this
I'm
one
not
here
giving you your discount
from Michael,
so it's
and
still the same price.
we know Michael, but Michael says not business related, but Jenksy related. Is the lumberjack look popular on the West Coast? Apparently we did.
Apparently it is. So I didn't do the mustache. I was going to pull out the handlebars later, but no.
I'm just gonna say if you want to fit in with the cool inland Northwest crowd, Spotify. What is it? Hipster barbecue.
Hipster barbecue.
Hipster barbecue.
It's legit. I actually use Pandora, but
is it Pandora?
Pandora.
Oh, I'm sorry, Spotify or Pandora.
Spotify.
Multiple people are thinking that we need a dance break. I'm not going to advocate for that, but no, James is shaking his head. We're not doing dance time. No.
We had a little earlier the shoulders.
Maybe at the end. Maybe at the end. We'll see if we have some time. Let's take a look here. John here is asking, you mentioned earlier about first data certification this year.
Yeah.
How is that going to impact EMV? Because right now,
Great question.
TSYS is our only certified EMV solution.
We don't know, just to be honest, but it seems doubtful that it will change the EMV certification. So We'll see. We are moving right now. Our certification with First Data is on First Data North, which is their primary level 3 platform. And but we are going to be moving to Rapid Connect. That's where most of their efforts are going, and we'll see what happens when we do that. So
that's awesome. I appreciate that info, Eric. So one here from Hank, and Hank's asking, is there a way to take advantage of B2B savings in a non-B2B environment? For example, corporate cards being used at some other, at a restaurant. How does that look?
Yeah, great question. In general, restaurants and hospitality aren't a good match for us. primarily because in hospitality, tip adjust is a big deal. Right? Tips make a big deal to the staff there, and we don't do tip adjust. So in general, hospitality is not where it's at. But I would say this: I had this conversation in Cabo. I had a guy who's very successful in the salon business. Right, his wife and him have been doing the salon business for years and has literally hundreds and hundreds of locations. And suddenly, bing, what about all the suppliers for that business, right? He's already at the conferences. Why does he go across the suppliers? Same thing with restaurants, right? I love restaurants, bar owners. They're really cool people. They do a really hard job. But at the end of the day, it's not my target market. But the folks that they buy product from is a good product or a good question. So one of my favorite tips, and I stole this from someone else, was we went into an espresso stand. We are in the Northwest, so we drink a lot of coffee here. Espresso stands, again, quite frankly, you kind of almost want to give them to Square, right? I mean, that's kind of how that goes, small ticket. But asked a brilliant question, right? It's not their target market, but asking the owner, where do you spend your money? Right. So where is the business owner using their company credit card? And surprisingly, they said, oh, we buy all of our milk, which is one of our #1 products, from a local supplier. And guess what? Followed that up the chain. Great account. Who knew you could be a dairy was a B2B merchant? I had no idea. Totally shocked me. But it was a big deal for them. And it was good money. So probably, Hank, not too many in that space. But by asking that question, hey, Mr. Business Owner, where are you spending your money, right? They're going to get your Amazons and the FedExes and all that. Obviously, probably not going to get those accounts. But locally, they're probably spending money somewhere, and that could end up being a really great referral.
Just kind of piggyback off that to add my own flavor to it. I've also seen that catering, if the restaurant has a catering side to it. Yeah,
it's amazing. I mean, in Portland, we have one of the biggest bistros, and they have a dozen locations. We have none of them, but their catering side does about 1/3 of their business company's volume, and we do the catering. So It's a great account to have.
Awesome. James, I can't see on my little portal here if we have some raised hands. Do we have a couple?
Do we want to risk it?
Do we want to risk it?
Let's risk it. It's our first time.
All right, we're gonna wing it, guys. Let's ask a question live. So James, if you can unmute that person, who are we talking to here? This again.
Now we are.
Okay, good. Now we're good.
Do you want to ask a question?
So let me recap the question one more time, guys, because I'm not sure if you heard it. Do MasterCard or Visa have a problem with the automated level 2 or level 3 data? And second question from John is, any concern of that going away in the future?
That's a good question. First one's easier to answer. Certainly in the beginning, there was a lot of concern about that, right? People felt like we were doing something underhanded, and a lot of the financial institutions, banks, were very nervous. In fact, we had a lot of clients that just said, let's not do that. And but increasingly, that's become more mainstream. In fact, we've had MasterCard in our office several times. They like it. I mean, obviously, they just sponsored this white paper, and so I haven't. My Visa contacts haven't said either way, but in general, I think that they're not concerned about it. Primarily because we have to remember, what are they interested in? They're trying to facilitate more payments,
Right.
and these banks want more payments and they want more data. So we're just making it easier. We're leveraging technology. And I've heard you say this on your trainings, but why don't we leverage technology? We leverage technology for almost everything else that we do these days, right? So why are we asking our clients for their zip code, right? Source zip code, one of the requirements for level 3. Why are we making them type that in? We know where their office is. I mean, if you're on the sales side, you get everything short of a DNA sample from your merchant to get through underwriting. So you already know all this stuff. So we're just simply leveraging technology to make it easier. Do we see that going away? That's hard to tell. I mean, obviously we saw some price compression from MasterCard. They went from what, 120 basis points down to 90 for level 3 spread. I don't see it going away anytime soon, just because, and that's just my opinion, right? So there's just so much interest in B2B right now. So I don't see that changing. This is the major lever that Visa and MasterCard have for penetrating the B2B space.
Awesome. Well, that was a good question to end on. We made it, guys. Power30 is wrapped up. As a follow-up, if your question didn't get answered, or if you have some burning questions, you can reach Eric at sales@paytrace.com. He'll get some eyes on that and answer any questions that you guys have. Eric, thank you so much, man. This is fun. We'll have to do this again.
Yeah, I know. Let's do it again.
And
I feel like I'm getting broken in now, so I'm like ready now.
Exactly. So hopefully we'll roll another one of these out soon. Appreciate you guys for joining us, and have a great week.
Thanks for that. Have a great week.
All right.